I'm going to start with littering justification. Littering can be defined as making a place or area untidy with rubbish or incorrectly disposing waste. Littering causes pollution, a major threat to the environment, and has increasingly become a cause for concern in many countries. As human beings are largely responsible for littering, it is important to understand why people litter, as well as how to encourage people not to litter. According to the Housing and Local Government Minister, Datuk Zuraida Kamarudin, about 60% of the 32 million Malaysian population still fail to throw their garbage into trash bin, although facility has been adequately provided for them. She said the Malaysian community has still not cultivated the habit of disposing garbage properly, and this should be addressed to make our country clean. That's all for me. Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Alia Nadirah binti Zanuddin and my matrix number is 285443. Our topic is about a cultural tradition or heritage that is inherited or practiced amongst Malaysians. Our group has chosen tourist littering issue in Malaysia. You might be wondering what is tourist littering issue, right? Tourist littering refers to the significant problem of tourists leaving behind their trash or waste and other forms of litters in public areas while visiting a certain place or tourist destination. It is also a global issue that affects many popular locations around the world. This is due to the fact that when tourists visit some places, they often generate a significant amount of waste that can have a lot of detrimental effects. This behavior not only damages the environment but also disrupts local ecosystem, harms wildlife, and negatively impacts the quality of life for residents. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nur Shazwani binti Abdul Halim, matrix number 278970. The tourist littering issue in Malaysia refers to the problem of tourists irresponsibly discarding waste and littering in various tourist destinations within the country. This issue has appeared due to the several factors, including the increasing number of tourists, lack of awareness, and adequate waste management infrastructure in certain areas. However, the issue of tourist littering is not a reflection of any culture, tradition, or heritage in Malaysia. It is a problem that affects many tourist destinations worldwide and basically driven by individual behavior and lack of environmental awareness. For example, of the tourist littering issue in Malaysia is the littering problem often observed in popular beach destinations such as Langkawi Island and Penang Island. This area attracts a large number of domestic and international tourists who visit a pristine beaches to enjoy the sun, sand, and sea. However, some tourists fail to dispose of their waste properly, resulting in litter accumulation on the beaches. Common items found include plastic bottle, food wrapper, and cigarette butts. This is also happen because the lack of proper waste management infrastructure, which contribute to the problem. Insufficient trash bin or the absence of regular waste collection service can lead tourists to resort to improper disposal method, such as leaving their trash on the beach or burying it in the sand. However, it is important to note that not all tourists contribute to this issue. Many visitors respect the environment and practice responsible tourism by properly disposing of their waste or participating in organized beach clean-up activities. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nur Amalia binti Abdul Hamid and my number matrix is 278141. Littering issue nowadays become more critical. The amount of trash created is overflowing landfills and the failure of citizens to put in recycling bin or any bin at all is frustrating the problem. For example, a famous forest park in Malaysia Cameron Highlands was recently forced to close because it an excessive accumulation of litter. Beyond tourism and the Cameron Highlands, littering in Malaysia has proven that it is not only pervasive but near impossible to stop. The Malaysia Plastic Manufacturing Association funded an 188,000 public education campaign aimed at reducing litter in 2012, but the litter problem is alive and well in 2015.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Before I start, my name is Ainu Masrina binti Abdul Manan and my metric number is 284642. Littering by tourists in Malaysia can have significant negative impact on the environment. Here are some specific ways in which it affects the environment. Firstly, pollution of natural habitats. From this point, tourists who litter contribute to the pollution of natural habitats such as beaches, forests, national parks, and water bodies. They often leave behind plastic bottles, food wrappers, cigarette butts, and other non-biodegradable waste which can take years to decompose. This pollution can harm the local flora and fauna, disrupt ecosystem, and degrade the overall environmental quality. Next is the threat to wildlife. As you can see, nowadays, much litter left behind by tourists can pose a direct threat to wildlife. Animals may mistake litter for food, leading to ingestion and digestive issues. Furthermore, sea creatures in particular are vulnerable as they may get entangled in plastic debris or mistake it for food, resulting in injury or death. Besides, litter can also disrupt nesting sites and breeding grounds, affecting the reproductive success of various species. Lastly, marine pollution. Malaysia is known for its beautiful coastline and marine biodiversity. However, littering by tourists, particularly on beach and near water bodies, contribute to marine pollution. For example, plastic waste and other debris carried by river and stream can end up in the ocean, causing serious harm to marine life and ecosystem. The biggest thing is it can also affect the tourism industry as tourists are less likely to visit beach or engage in water activity in polluted area.
Next, we will talk about the impacts of littering towards safety and well-being of a community. First one is decreasing tourism potential in a place. A community's aesthetic quality suffers when there is a persistent throwing trash everywhere culture. Piles of trash can cover the actual beauty of an area. Garbage piles in public areas and alongside roads create an unpleasant environment. This may have detrimental effects on tourism, resulting in a drop of tourists and financial losses for the community and that area. Second is it can affect psychological negatively. Living in a community where waste pollution is pervasive can have a detrimental psychological impact on inhabitants. Disgust, worry, anxiety, stress, and many other mental issues can all be brought on by the presence of the rubbish. It may also cause community members to feel hopeless and have a lower quality of life due to this problem.
Litter endangers our environment, our work life, and our economy. It pollutes our neighborhoods, degrades properties, values, and destroys our city natural beauty. The ideal way to handle the problem littering is to prevent it in the first place.
There are several ways to inherit the culture. First is to educate travelers and tell them how to be more responsible and respectful of the place.
Tourists need to be respectful of local culture, custom, and ethics. This is because being a responsible tourist can reduce the negative social, economic, and environment impact that tourism has on the local community. With this way, it's not only respect the environment but also supporting local communities and making better place for people to live. The other ways is to impose the littering penalties and other reinforcement measures. Of course, penalty has a real effect on littering behavior. However, the education and raising awareness is crucial in guaranteeing long-term results.
For example, community clean-up event can be an effective way for spreading anti-litter message in society.
Some people argue that not only penalties but rewards also might be a good idea to prevent the littering.
The next way is we should hanging stop littering signs. The sign should place in highly litterate area that those are prone to litterings. Not only that, it should hang it around the attraction place
and it deserves top littering sign to constantly remind people that littering is a bad thing and should thus be avoided. Moreover, this practice should give more attention among us when tourist or traveler comes to our country, because when we as a residents, we should give an example so that they can follow our rules. Lastly is enforce a prohibitions on use of plastics. Plastic is the main contributor to the world waste because it takes decades to compose and decompose. We should enforce prohibitions on the use of plastic because it could damage the natural environment that the focus of by many peoples. Moreover, should put this into a practice so that visitors can do the same in order to prevent marine life on the deck from becoming a threat. Banning the use of plastic will give wisdom not only to us but to the other things beings. Moreover, it can protect the heritage so that it does not cause the harms.